It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. So there's two separate things that I saw here. First off, an article in National Review. Republicans trudge towards year-end with no clear path on health care. And the Breitbart article, exclusive, Biggs delivers health work framework to GOP leadership and urges immediate action. Now, that was House conservatives.
Right.
Have presented the House Republican leadership with a comprehensive health care reform framework calling for immediate legislative action and urging an end to what they describe as years-long delays on conservative health care priorities. They delivered the framework to House Speaker Johnson. The letter, co-signed by several Republican members, outlines a sweeping conservative approach and calls for an end to what Biggs described as the failing status quo. The framework aims to jumpstart House discussions on concrete policy action, advancing a full legislative slate, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Get specific here. Of already introduced bills. It is crafted to reflect key elements of President Donald Trump's healthcare agenda, including codifying executive actions from his administration and rejecting continued funding of the COVID-era Affordable Care Act subsidies. Now, you saw that story last week that the president came out and denied that the White House was looking for a 2-year extension.
Right.
And he said that, that was not true. Biggs wrote, the time for half measures is over. He wrote to Johnson, who earlier in the week encouraged lawmakers to pull ideas together for a broader health care discussion, which takes us to the other article, as you can introduce that from conservatives. But this article, Republicans trudge towards year-end with no clear path on health care. The leadership doesn't know where they're going to go. And that was the evidence by Mike Johnson saying, we need to pull all the ideas together.
Yeah.
Now, in December.
Right.
We asked back in October, September, do you have any idea what you're going to do?
What's the plan?
You're only saying we need to, let's listen to all the ideas here. It's December.
Yeah.
They don't know where to go.
They don't.
And that's because they don't know how to get out of the pathology of dependency that the American public that is on Obamacare feels about the subsidies. They don't want to, they don't care about the minutia. They only care about, I've got the subsidy. If you tell them, well, we're going to take away this health care, we're going to give you money, and you have to decide what you have to get, that's another hassle.
Well, and now it's like giving them a jar of that natural peanut butter where you have to do the work after you buy it. You got to stir it. Thank you, comedian Greg Warren, who did a great special on that called The Salesman. He actually sold peanut butter for a living one time. But it is, you're asking, and I said this, actually, but I saw Greg Warren over the weekend. I said, wait a minute, a peanut butter analogy is it. You're asking people to do the job now because the effect would be, and I understand the effect, if you're promoting, no, we'll write them a check directly that can help pay for the increase in subsidy or in premiums. No, you're asking them to do the work. Because the idea would be, on the positive side, for the proponents of such an idea, well, they're going to learn how much it costs. They don't care.
Unless they have to pay.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Right.
That FSA or whatever it would be designed to help them pay for that. And the idea would be give it to them. It becomes their money to spend that way. but it's not really their money because they have to use it that way. So they'll see it as an extra step in the process. Hold on a second. I don't understand this thing. You know all the commercials that you see this time of year?
For Medicare.
For Medicare. Been going on for years.
Oh, they'll be
Joan, I don't understand.
They'll be gone.
And they're on the phone with their friend. And by the way, that is a very real thing. And usually it's someone who's in that age group calling a family member if they don't understand. I don't know what to do.
But they'll be gone today.
What?
The commercials disappear today.
Oh, yeah. That part of the year is over.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. And so, but you see them for a reason every year, right? Because, well, you're just now, they're, like we've said, you can't do Medicare for all. You can't even get some Medicare for some done. And in this case, you're asking people then to be a part of the process of then fulfilling that, all right, every month now, I've got to take my FSA payment. And I got to make sure I pay that premium. You're giving them additional responsibility. That's the way many of them, not all, many of them will see it. There should be transparency. There should be, and we've talked about this for years, going back to the whole Obamacare thing and even before that. There should be greater transparency as to what the healthcare providers, the hospitals, the clinics, doctors, and everything charge, and we should know the cost of healthcare. John Stossel did a thing where he ended up in the ER, and he wrote this thing on how they were coming in and telling him he needed this and he needed this, but he didn't know how much it was going to cost, and it didn't, why don't we learn these things right away? And those principles are at play here because I'm wondering if they're getting internals coming back going, you can't write them a check. You write them a check, now you're going to create chaos.
From National Review, congressional Republicans who are worried about premium hikes are frustrated that party leaders don't seem to have a clear plan on whether the GOP can advance a legislative package that includes an extension of the enhanced ACA subsidies. The real question is there a will? And I don't know, said Senator Josh Hawley, who has expressed an interest in extending the subsidies with some reforms. You and I said that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I see the individual members are saying we want to prevent premiums from doubling, tripling, but I don't see a whole lot of urgency out of leadership right now, to be honest with you, and I find that very discouraging. Any health care package Republicans hope to advance will require a buy-in from the president, a lesson the GOP again learned over the summer when Republicans only narrowly passed their sprawling tax bill through the budget reconciliation process. But getting a bill to President Donald Trump's desk by the end of the year would require 60 votes from the Senate. And as things stand, the party remains paralyzed over how to proceed. Some moderate House Republicans are circulating a bipartisan proposal that would temporarily extend the enhanced Obamacare subsidies with modest reforms with the backing of some House Democrats, but those subsidies remain extremely unpopular with most congressional Republicans who say they were meant to be temporary, a prop-up inflationary health care system, and it's rife with fraud. Centrist Senator Susan Collins is reportedly circulating a proposal that would extend the subsidies for 2 years with a $200,000 income gap. Well, then you haven't solved any problems there, by the way.
No, you haven't.
Income gap while eliminating $0 premium packages, according to Semaphore. Senator Rick Scott, with the backing of the House Republican Study Committee, is advocating a proposal that would create HSA-style Trump Health Freedom accounts to give consumers more choice in their health care decisions. Confusion surrounding the legislative path for Republicans should take has been increased by the fact that Trump, who has spent recent weeks dipping his toes in and out of the debate, has delegated the legislative fight to congressional Republican leaders who typically rely on him to whip members into line for controversial bills. Talks continue behind the scenes, White House officials notably spent late last month asking some prominent pro-life groups to hold off on wading into the tense ongoing debate surrounding Obamacare subsidies, preferring instead that the groups keep their worries about insurance companies subsidizing of elective abortion private as Republicans navigate a path towards a particularly a fractious issue, National Review said last week. In Hawley's view, Senator Hawley's views, Republicans have no right to complain that the president is leaving the deal-making and details to Congress. Last I looked, it was our job to legislate. But the reality is, the political reality is, when Trump was asked last week, do you want the 2-year subsidies? He said no. Well, what precisely does he want? We don't know what he wants.
Well, that's it. And he hasn't been really vocal about, pressing what he wants, right?
No.
Where he quite often, most often is, if he's got a plan in his mind or, the idea, then he's talking about it and he's, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. The HSA plan, again, creates chaos, too many moving parts. I agree with the fundamentals of it, of if people are shopping around, it creates greater transparency and encourages greater competition in the marketplace, in the Obamacare marketplace. You're not solving the overall problem.
Okay, let me say this in hopes that I'm wrong. Because if I say it, if it's wrong, I'll be the happiest person in the world.
Yeah.
I see no way by January you're going to have any HSA, FSA kind of accounts. I don't see that happening.
I agree. No, I don't see anything but...
I don't see it next year.
I see don't support it, but the Susan Collins... We're closer to Susan Collins' proposal than we are the HSA, FSA thing.
And this would be one of the things that if I was wrong, it's one of the reasons we don't make predictions.
I'll have a parade.
But I'm starting to make predictions now of things I think will happen that I promote that I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
That way you win either way, right?
Exactly. I'd be happy to be wrong about it. But I'm with you. I don't think, and I said this back during the whole government shutdown. At the end of it, the Republicans are going to cave because they won't be able to get the votes that they need. And they have enough Democrats, of course, to continue the subsidies. So you've got the votes. You're not going to get the votes. But you don't have the votes.
Well, they're not unified in what they want, and Democrats are basically unified that, well, subsidies for everybody. All right, Susan Collins, under $200,000 a year. Okay, we can go for that.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's what it's going to be. I think we're a lot closer to that. I'd put an 80% on that and probably a 20% on the FSA, HSA thing. Because then you get into, because now when you're, the devil in the details thing of the FSA, HSA plan. Okay. So then you get into, all right, then what happens with this? What would be then in the marketplace? What are those companies offering those premiums, offering the coverage? What are they responsible for? What happens with them? We're at December 8th, folks, and they still don't know. They have no clue. The GOP leadership is going, hey, let's all get together. It's too late for that. It's December 8th. You guys are going on break here in a matter of days for the end of the year. And I suspect what we're going to see, because you're not going to let this go into January. You won't. You just won't. You can't have that going into ad season for your midterm. You already have issues on that. And so if we know that everyone in the GOP, the word of the day is, or the word of the month, word of the year maybe is affordability now with the GOP. Don't add one more item on that affordability list. And I'm not a proponent of the subsidies continuing. This whole thing has been a debacle. I'm just telling you how
the political reality.
I suspect this is where the GOP is going, because your political reality is you don't have the votes for any other plan, and you never will.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max. Most owner-operators leased to larger carriers are paid on a per-mile basis or a percentage of revenue per load. The per-mile basis is most prevalent among larger fleets, percentage at smaller. Pay per mile tends to dominate discussions about pay just because it's easier to measure, and pay per mile often is wrongly used as the deciding factor in leasing to a carrier. While pay per mile can be a vital factor, it's not a cure for every ill, nor does it mean a big settlement check is coming an owner-operator's way. Why? Because pay per mile always must be considered in balance with gross revenue as well as total costs. Gross revenue can include flat mileage pay that varies by length of haul, percentage revenue pay, and more. Most importantly, though, for every revenue dollar generated, only part of that dollar is profit. But for every extra dollar of cost saved, the entire dollar contributes to profit. Knowing and understanding your cost to operate is fundamental to understanding the true value of any pay package. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Just to show you that we look at all sides, this article was written in MS Now, msnow.com. MS Now Opinion, Paul Waldman. I didn't pick up on this yet.
What?
Why Hakeem Jeffries' new slogan for the Democratic Party is so ineffective. A new Democrat slogan is emblematic of an approach the party's leadership always seems to take. They're too afraid of offending anybody to call out the villains. Am I getting you interested now in this?
Yeah.
All right, get interested. You wonder what the new slogan is for the Democrats?
What?
Are you ready?
Okay.
Strong floor, no ceiling. And then they write here, this is MS Now, the former MSNBC, strong floor, no ceiling. Try to contain your excitement. Not only will nobody have any idea what that means unless it's explained, and it doesn't even describe well what the Democrats ought to want. Jeffries, who began road testing the slogan a few months ago, has been using it with increasing frequency. We believe in a country where you have a strong floor and no ceiling. But then climate change will affect you, Hakeem.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't? You got to have a ceiling.
Gotta have a ceiling.
You are advocating a house without a ceiling?
This is what the Democrats want. No ceilings. No homes with ceilings. You don't deserve a ceiling.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. There's so much fun with this one. Yeah. Strong floor, no ceilings. Sounds like what I was telling the contractor when I was building a pool in my backyard for the pool house. Strong floor.
No ceiling.
No ceiling.
I just love
Get on that.
When you've lost MS Now on your new slogan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're the ones that came up with lean forward. Remember that. So
yes, exactly.
So if you've lost them on yours, yeah, you're way off.
Observing and analyzing the insanity. Eric Harley and Gary McNamara. Nightly. on Red Eye Radio.
You know, I was thinking about it during the break, that MS Now slogan, or the Democrat slogan, that is circling around. Thanks to
Strong
Hakeem.
floor, no ceiling.
Strong floor, no ceiling. It almost sounds akin to, one of those kind of, if you're, telling somebody about somebody else who's not that smart. Well, I'll tell you, that guy's all floor, no ceiling, if you know what I mean. It just sounds weird. Strong floor, no ceiling. Don't you need a ceiling? No.
That's why MS Now. Why Hakeem Jeffries' new slogan for the Democratic Party is so ineffective. Now, Ron came up during the break with one we should use for Red Eye Radio, because we don't have a slogan.
We don't.
We
don't.
Strong ceiling, no walls.
That's right.
WALZ.
There you go. Perfect. Or the one I like, Red Eye Radio. Knock it off.
Red Eye Radio. Sit down. Well, we don't know what you guys mean by that. Well, that's why we don't know what they mean. The Democrats mean strong floor, no ceiling.
I'll tell you what I mean. I mean, knock it off. it's like, that's why do you need? Because so are they gonna use that? Is that going to be a common thread in some of the ads for the midterm? I really hope it is.
Well, speaking about the midterm coming up, speaking about 2028 and Gavin Newsom.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this was Victor Davis Hanson.
Yeah.
Wrote in realclearpolitics.com. As California Governor Gavin Newsom gears up for a run for president, what in the world will he run on?
Yeah. No, that's a good question.
Californians know that Newsom will not boast, "I will do for America what I have done for California." He goes, "Why not?" Well, let's count the reasons. California's astronomical gas prices and taxes remain the highest in the continental U.S.
Yeah.
Well, what he could say, California, strong floor, we're not Hawaii.
Yeah. Strong floor, no ceiling on taxes.
Because ditto the state's trifecta of the highest electricity rates, the costliest home prices, and the fourth highest home insurance cost. California has the largest unfunded liability debt in the nation, approaching $270 billion. The budget deficit each year usually ranges from $15 to $70 billion. Such spending and deficits explain why the state also has the highest income taxes and state sales tax rates in the nation. 1% of California households pay 50% of the state income tax. That's why he wants to put on the tax, the one-time wealth tax on the richest California residents.
Right.
That would be for 2025, but based on 2026. So if you left in 2025 and lived there any part of the year, whatever income you made in 2026 would what you would be taxed on back for 2025, even if you left the state.
Right.
By the way, they might have some court problems there.
I think they would.
So just 1% of California residents pay 50% of the state income tax, and the fleeced are leaving in droves. Newsom recently boasted he extended Medi-Cal health insurance to thousands of more illegal immigrants. No wonder Newsom just begged for nearly $3 billion Medi-Cal federal bailout. Half of the state's 41 million residents are now on Medi-Cal. Some 50% of all births are Medi-Cal provided and growing. California has a lot of other firsts in the nation. First, the largest population of illegal immigrants, the largest number of homeless people, the largest number of people fleeing the state, the largest number of people living in poverty, the highest food prices in the continental U.S. The state's infrastructure is usually rated near the bottom. California ranks as one of the 5 worst states per capita violent crime. A few other observations. One, California is a naturally wealthy state. It is the third largest by area. It ranks seventh in the nation in oil reserves. No nation has more agricultural production or forested land acreage. So it's hard to bankrupt California, but Newsom has managed. Two, under prior governors, Pat Brown, Ronald Reagan, Pete Wilson, California used to be the best-run state in the country. California once produced more oil than any other state except Texas. It's now bad timber industry once used to be the third largest in the nation, and it's currently trying to get rid of mining and mineral industries that were once among the 10 top producers in the country.
Right.
No state politician over the last 3 decades has been more responsible for California's decline than Newsom.
No, that's it. You know, we talked about overall for the Democrats and asked the question over the years, and we bring it up every election cycle, but what are they trying to do for you? Where is the promotion of growth? Where is the promotion of expansion of wealth? It's the approach of people like Gavin Newsom, and has been from the beginning. We remember when he was on the city council in San Francisco, we were doing stories about him back then.
Well, that's what they talk about here. 6 years as governor, 8 years as lieutenant governor, 7 years as mayor of San Francisco, 7 years on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors.
Yeah. And so when you look at that approach of we're going to take down big industry. Well, it's the industry that funds everything. You know, Obama famously told business leaders, you didn't build that. And we came in that night and said, no, you're absolutely wrong. They built that. Because what he's saying is the government had to build the bridges and the roads to get people to your business. Nope. That wouldn't have been funded without profits from those same businesses. Well, not those very same businesses, but the businesses in general. Nothing happens without the profits that can be taxed. This is another reason why they want to go after wealth tax. This is go after the wealth. Something this is money they've already paid taxes on. But go after and confiscate what they already have, what they've already earned and paid taxes on, because it's not enough just to take, because they do things like this, destroying. When a company like Chevron decided they were leaving California, that was such an earthquake of a move. If people understood how long Chevron had been based there. And I have friends, I had one friend in particular who was possibly one of the only few conservatives in the Bay Area that worked for that company. And these are, again, the choices that not only companies, but individuals have to make. And when they do that, those companies leave, it becomes more and more expensive. The cost of government, you put in this tax, the income tax, the sales tax, and now the thought of this wealth tax. What do you think is going to happen? It is destructive in nature and has there is no ROI, because this isn't investment. It's destructive policy that will continue to erode at the greatness that was once California.
But remember, as he writes here, California chose decline.
They voted for it.
In the last 30 years, it drove out somewhere between 18 and 20 million affluent and middle-class state residents, the largest state exodus in U.S. history. Its open border welcomed an influx of over 10 million illegal immigrants. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley's $11 trillion in market capitalization created the wealthiest and the most left-wing out-of-touch elite in the United States. The result was a medieval state of a few million elites, a mass of poor people, and a vanishing middle class. Democrats control all branches of government. Only 17% of its congressional delegation is Republican, so the left proudly owns what California has become. What then will Newsom run on? Certainly not high-speed rail, 17 years, $15 billion, and not a foot of track laid.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Certainly not a $500 million exploding solar battery plant. certainly not illegally issuing 17,000 commercial truck drivers' licenses to non-resident illegal aliens with little or no English competency. Certainly not the horrific but preventable Pacific Palisades fire. Certainly not the now closed $2 billion desert solar plant boondoggle. Instead, Newsom will continue his He-Man threats to President Donald Trump like we're going to punch this bully in the mouth. It's a great point, though. It's something that we've talked about over and over again. What do they go, what in the world would he run on? But then this story in Breitbart, California Sheriff Chad Bianco says it's time to end the state income tax. That's not going to happen.
No.
Riverside County Sheriff and California Republican gubernatorial candidate Chad Bianco announced on Saturday that it's time to end the state's income tax. It's time to end the state income tax. He put in a post on X, taxpayers shouldn't be carrying the burden for Sacramento's special interest. Well, I guess you could cut. What you would want to do is you would cut it for a significant number of people that really aren't paying anything. But remember, the top 1% pay 50% of California state income tax. You're not going to cut that.
No, that's not going to go
right.
away.
We talk about how tough it is to cut on the federal level. How the hell can you cut on the state level in California?
Right.
Unless you're forced to. Unless you're forced to tax all the people.
Right. I mean,
right.
They could do the Hochul approach, and that is, no, we won't go after the billionaires. We'll just go after the corporations, which, of course, means those taxes, as they increase the corporate tax rates, will be passed on to the consumers, which is everyone.
Bianco's website states California is the most expensive state to live in America, which explains why from July of 2020 and to July of 2023, we've lost 412,000 people to other states. It is no surprise given residents must deal with the highest income tax and most regulations of any other state. Decades of failed policies, overtaxation, and regulations are causing Californians to leave for greener pastures. The people that are leaving, though, are the people that would vote for no state income tax.
Right. Yeah.
The people that are left, what you're doing, whether it's New York, whether it's Illinois, whether it's California, you are just creating
a higher concentration.
A higher concentration in those particular areas.
Great point.
Of liberalism.
Right.
It was a couple of years ago, and I think it was maybe during the Beto O'Rourke thing when he was. And he may be coming back. Who knows again? The eternal candidate, the eternal losing candidate.
Yeah.
But remember, they did a poll that showed that immigrants to Texas, even from California, were more likely to vote Republican than the average Texan.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay,
right.
That's good.
Yeah. No, that was a great thing to see.
Now that goes back, 8 years ago?
We have some problems with the average Texan. And I don't know how they qualified.
Was it average or Austin, Texas?
Oh, it could have been Austin. But I don't know how they qualified that, too, because they're –
neither do I. I don't know.
Harris County, Travis County, Dallas County, So there are plenty of liberals in the state of Texas. But it was good to see that so many of those coming in from other states were voting Republican. That's a good thing. But I'll say this, the story of California – is going to continue down this road because the voters of California are not going to change. As you mentioned, as the exodus continues, then those who are likely to vote blue all of the rest of their lives are going to remain, and that's a higher concentration of those people, of that group.
We are Red Eye Radio.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. There's no ceiling because it's crashing in California. The strong floor, no ceiling, Hakeem Jeffries' new slogan there. But when you look at California and the same as New York here, eventually you're going to have so many people move out, the people that can move out because of the oppressive taxes, especially the top 1% who can leave. which then means you're going to have more of the taxes that have to go on the middle class.
Yeah.
Is that when you finally will have a change in California or New York? That's why I'm interested to see what happens with Mamdani, and if Hochul does collapse and say, no, we're going to raise corporate taxes across the state to pay for California. As I said, that is probably, Elise Stefanik is probably saying, please do that.
Yeah.
Because if there's ever a chance of me winning in New York State, it would be if she did something like that, because that would relate to all New Yorkers outside of New York City.
Right.
But then again, that might bring 99.9% of the Democrat voters from New York to the polls saying, no, we like it this way.
Yeah.
We like it where the rest of the state pays for us. We get a free lunch.
It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.